For everybody who is joining us here today, who's watching right now, welcome to the first webinar for the SuperMedia Mastery course. This meeting of entrepreneurs is designed for a very specific reason. It is to inform you, for me to inform you on what the course is, why it was made, how it can work for you. Also, whoever's joining, don't feel pressured to leave your camera on. Feel free to do everything else. I know life gets crazy. You're free to just listen. But the goal, again, is to, just explain why the course is the way it is, how it can benefit you and your business, and the best way to get started and to maximize it. So just going down this list here, before I start, everything is a lesson. Every piece of content, every call, every webinar, everything we create is a lesson. That is because inside the SuperMedia Mastery course, we are promoting it as a brand ourselves, and we're using the skills that we teach in the course for the course, if that makes sense. So everything that we do, meaning every ad that you might get, every email that you might receive, once we get into SMS texting, right? Every automation, these calls, it's important that you pay close attention to how we're communicating with you, because you can take something from that and apply it to your own business. So everything we do is a lesson. At the top of the list here, of course, we're using Notion. You guys are familiar with Notion already. If you started the course, if you haven't yet, Notion is a free document creation platform that has changed my life. It's changed our brand's life. And it's a way to just stay organized. All of the templates within the course are made with Notion. Your lead magnet, once you get to that phase, will be made in Notion. It's optional, of course, but it's just what we suggest. So host and attendee intros. So me and Latoya were just chatting a bit. She just introduced herself, but just quickly, my name is Brandon. I'm the founder of SuperWell Creative Studios from Queens, New York. I've been an entrepreneur for 34 years now, and I am on a never-ending journey to finding a system and now sharing a system that works, that allows you to create content that people care about, that inspires those people to check out your brand, and then giving them more reason to eventually make a purchase and join your community. I love creating. I'm a videographer, photographer myself. That's how SuperWell started. And this course was a long time in the making, and it's my mission to share these skills with new entrepreneurs who have been doing this for a while, and just simplifying the sale, supercharging them in the simplest way. And the SuperMedia Mastery course, it's super new, but it contains all of my secrets, all of my formulas. So I'm very excited to be sharing it with everyone who is watching and everybody who joins. So moving on, we already covered everything we cover is a lesson. So remember to pay close attention to how we're communicating, all the content you're going to be receiving. The point of digital marketing. Okay, so this is all objective, right? I've been doing this for about 15 years now, and I've discovered that the point of digital marketing really is to tell a story. And that is a big reason why I made the Brand Storyteller's Journal. And if you're watching this, it's likely you downloaded the free journal with the hopes of telling your story. That's why it was made. And that is my lead magnets. The lead magnet is something that you're going to learn in chapter 4 in email marketing. It's a super high quality, free or at low cost document that you can digitally share to get someone into your email newsletter. Super powerful if done right, and I show you exactly how to do it in the course. But back to the point here, the point of digital marketing is to tell a story that inspires your target audience to get excited about whatever it is you are offering, your product, your service. But it's to tell a story that doesn't seem too pushy or aggressive or too salesy, honestly. The point is to create a system that you trust enough to let run on autopilot in your sleep. And that's occasionally how I promote and talk about the SuperMedia Mastery course. It's to build a system that's customized to your brand, that actually finds new customers and generates sales while you're sleeping, which sounds a little crazy right now. As you continue to take the course, once you eventually join, you will see how that works. Excellent. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is jump into the course behind the scenes. So this is what you're going to see once you sign up. So right now, you should see the course homepage. This is something you've probably seen already. This is our landing page. Again, remember, everything is a lesson because you're going to be doing this exact same thing for your own brand. So I'm using Squarespace. It's one option. It's something that I've gotten super comfortable with. This is the landing page. If you notice, it says hello right here, little cover photo, and this.
Okay, so what if I told you?
Whoop, went a little too far. This is my landing page video. Now, this is something that once you finish chapter 1 and 2 in the course, you should confidently be able to make if you can't already. This is the introduction. This is how you really show customers your story. I kept it really simple. The set might actually look very familiar, just the outfit's different. I'm going to pause this. And then we have our intro here, of course. And remember, everything is a lesson when you're creating your offer, when you're getting people into your automation. They have their lead magnet. They have your lead magnet. Sorry, there's some sirens outside. And then they check out what you're actually offering, your core offer. So these are the lessons. I know I promised I'd get into the lessons. So there are quite a few, so I'm not going to get into each one for too long. Really just going to go over the chapters. Chapter 1, how to film your brand story. Really, this chapter is more about filming in general. The brand story, or as you'll come to know it as your tofu, the one film wonder, is a type of video that you only need to make once. You only need to make it once because it's an evergreen piece of content that doesn't change, that best represents your business, your brand, and it's shown to new customers to get their attention, to fall in love with your story. So in chapter 1, you are going to learn the theory of the brand story film, how it works, what it's meant to do. You are going to learn how to best prepare to film your brand story, getting all the equipment, your tools, basically using a pre-made checklist that can help keep you organized. You're going to learn how to hold your camera, how to frame your shots using both a professional camera, using an iPhone or a smartphone. Lighting, everything you see here behind me was made very strategically. You can probably see that I am separated from the background. I have a light up here, here, and one right over there. You're going to learn how to do that as well. Audio and sound, I'm using a wireless mic right now, the DJI Mic 2, and it is magnetized to my shirt. So we're going to talk about how to use audio, use lighting in the most creative, comfortable way to get the highest quality stuff. I'm going to tell you the best iPhone settings to use, the best pro camera settings. Now you can see all of these on the landing page to see what to expect, though you can't access them yet until you access the course officially. How to interview clients for your brand story film, B-roll basics, raw footage. So this chapter really is teaching you how to be a filmmaker and a video creator, which is really cool. I've been shooting videos for about 6 or 7 years now, photography for a lot longer before. I fell in love with like filmmaking and video creating. You can see a bunch of my work on Instagram, on the website here. But that really is chapter 1. So when you start the course, this is going to be the first chapter. But remember, you can skip ahead to other chapters if you'd like. I was just talking to Latoya, who's here with us, about the order of the chapters and the lessons and how it was made strategically for you to take it step by step, starting at chapter 1. It is not required, but you will get the most out of it, especially if you're not familiar with everything the course offers. It's going to give you all of these skills at once, but they all kind of come together at the end in a really creative way. So that's chapter 1.
I do have a question about the document that goes for chapter 1. So there's a section where you kind of explain what kind of visual you're going to put together. So when you're trying, and I would say that it's probably more generic when it comes to brands or what type of brand you have. But I was just curious, like since I have a clothing brand, do you think there's a different way that you should probably like display your video? Meaning, like, let's say if you're into moody things, or does it really just fall along the lines of what you want your demographic to experience when they're watching the video?
Sure. So just so I understand, you're asking like what type of video style would be best for your industry?
Right.
So yeah, I think again it goes back to your goals, right? I know we talked about this earlier. If your goal is to like generate sales online or just like those add to cart actions and then eventually checkouts, you want to create a video that you can put at the top of your website that maybe shows models or your team showcasing the clothing, the neighborhood. You know, the section about B-roll goes into like going out with the camera and like capturing the city where the brand is based. There's so much that you can capture to really tell your story. Now, I'm not an expert in fashion. I had a menswear apprenticeship years ago, but I think what works best on me is, of course, seeing the clothing on people and having them just like enjoying daily life. I mean, that's definitely one. And then, you know, great outdoors and good B-roll, music, and that all comes together. And I think by the time you finish chapter 1 and 2, you should have a good sense, a good idea of what to include. I'm curious, actually, in one of the courses, in one of the lessons rather, I show our brand story film that that I create kind of on the spot, and you see there's some B-roll elements. Have you gone up to that part yet?
Yes.
Okay, so you see that, you know, also using Artlist as a great tool, if that's something you want to invest in to get high quality stock footage to incorporate into your brand story film. But again, it's more about how you want your potential customer to feel if they're watching the video. They come to your website because they like something you posted on social media. They heard about it in passing in the street, and then they're there and they watch it and they're like, wow, I love it. This team is great. I want to be a part of it. It goes in there to actually get them to add something to their cart. So it's your visual business card. You know, once you have your story, you know, in the journal, I think the more you work on that, the more you see like who you want to reach, the type of vibe you're going for, you'll have a better understanding of the type of shots that you want to film and put into your brand story film, into your tofu. So just sharing what I like, obviously on, you know, high energy music, which you can get on Artlist as well on other websites, but just showing the line in action. Something I also really liked about the brand that I worked for like years ago, they went to India where the clothing was manufactured. They partnered with a really cool manufacturer there, and they talked about like the fabrics and where they come from and how it's made. And I think the how it's made angle is super strong because it really lets somebody, you know, fall in love with your story and become invested in the process. So like when they wear it, they can, in passing, they'll say, oh, thanks for the compliment. It's actually, I saw this cool video about how it's made. So there are a lot of different angles to take, but I would say like how it's made and people wearing it and just creating that like excitement and energy.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And
So
then
don't overcomplicate it. I feel like I'm overcomplicating it. So that's probably what it is.
You know, I think that's just the entrepreneur's curse, where everything kind of has to feel perfect. But the truth is, like, you just need to launch with something and then see what happens and like improve over time. Really, the goal is just for them to like love it, check out your stuff, place, and then like add something to their cart, and then let the ads kind of do the rest for you. But yeah, and then of course in our group training calls, since you're in the SuperMedia community already, Latoya, you can work with me to help make it perfect. So that's something you can look forward to as well.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
So going back to now looking at chapter 2, this is going to be about editing your brand story film or editing any type of film. That's what's so great about this chapter. It focuses on Premiere Pro, which is a popular editing software within Adobe. And really what you're going to experience here is how to use the basics in Premiere Pro to add the footage that you've shot in chapter 1, organize it in the best possible way, and how to use the most popular effects. how to fix up your audio, your sound, color. There are going to be some advanced tricks in here, but they're not advanced in how to do them. The output, the result is advanced, but there's a simplified way of how to do them. And that's what I talk about in this chapter. Excuse me. All about just making it the best possible looking and sounding video possible. So that's in chapter 2. In chapter 3, this is all about social media strategy. It has nothing to do with ads quite yet. That's in chapter 4. This talks about how to first export your videos for each social channel. Talks about YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok in particular. This lesson here, the content batching strategy, is really cool because it allows you to stay super organized and to create a lot of content in a short amount of time. So like a month's worth of content in just a few days, or maybe one day, depending on how productive you are or how much coffee or matcha you've had that day. But this is super powerful. It really just helps you stay organized and maximizes your creativity and output. And it ends with the Super Social Media Playbook, which has a bunch of best practices and a guide, of course, a template that acts as a checklist to make sure that what you're creating has a purpose, is reaching the people you want it to, and gets them into your customer journey. Chapter 4, they're all my favorite chapters. They're like all my children, of course. But looking at chapter 4, this is where I think I've had the most fun, because this is where you are going to create your meta ads funnel, Facebook and Instagram advertising. If you're unfamiliar with that, this means that you're going to be creating content specific to an audience that is waiting for it, that wants to buy from your brand or join your community. So there is a whole science, sorry, I think there's a fly in here, but there is a whole science to effective meta advertising. Think about it this way. Somebody comes to your website because you made a great brand story film. You made some great tofu, right? They loved it so much on social media where they saw it. They went to your website. They now become a website visitor, and they are tagged as a website visitor. Now you can send them specific content saying, hey, you saw my website. I noticed. You don't say that directly. You say, now that you saw my website, maybe watch this video showing some happy customers who have bought from us already. Now, if that inspires them to add to their cart, to pick so Latoya, if they look at your shop after seeing that ad and they're like, oh, okay, they seem to love it, I'm gonna give it a shot, and they add to their cart, but then they go away, they don't check out, they become a hot lead, a hot customer. And then you create an ad. Keep in mind, this is all being done automatically once you set it up for the first time and only time. Then you can target people who have just added to their cart but did not check out yet. And that is when you send them an offer that they can't refuse. So this talks about the different stages of advertising, how to set them up, how to get advertising started in your Meta account, understanding how a funnel works, the lead magnet, which, for example, is the Brand Storyteller's Journal. Again, something for free or at very little cost that you want someone to download. So check this out. We're gonna go to chapter 5 now. Actually, before chapter 5, I just want to mention inside chapter 4 with ads, I also teach you how to understand what's working and what's not working, so that you can constantly iterate and improve your ads so you reach the right people, get your costs where you want them to be. It's a super powerful skill to have in addition to the other ones, but this one is super special.
Do you have any recommendations on when we should actually, I don't know, because I'm not that far down yet. So as part of the lessons, do you have any recommendations on like when we should proactively start using ads? Like, so should it be where our community is engaged already, or, those type of things?
Great question. So getting ads going as soon as possible is super important, but doing it with a strategy is even more important. It's best to first create content that you're going to use for your ads before getting into it, but I would suggest jumping in there just to watch the intro first couple lessons, because once you set up your pixel, if you're unfamiliar with the pixel, it's just the tool, the code that you use to start tracking that activity, to start tracking people who go to your site, who add to your cart, who watch your content on your website. It's going to start collecting that data. So it might be worth it to actually jump in there now, or whenever you get back into the course, to get that set up, because once you have your pixel, it's going to start collecting that data, so that when you are ready, you'll have an audience to target, which will be website visitors. You'll be ready for that warm stage, which you'll learn about in that chapter. So again, just like we talked about before, you have all 5 chapters, all 5 skills at your disposal. They all do work together into one customer journey that runs automatically, but it is totally okay to jump back and forth to just build these systems, because more than anything, this is a system. It's a digital marketing system that once you set up and tailor to your own brand, it's running, it's working, and you can just constantly change it, upgrade it, and adjust it. So I would say it actually might be a smart idea to jump in there and just check it out and download the templates. Just start collecting those templates and get them in your Notion toolbar, because then you'll know, like, okay, this is how I set up my pixel. This is how I tag my events, right? Which is a skill that I think a lot of marketers wish they had, because it's actually a super easy thing to do for like targeting people. So I would just stay curious, Latoya. I would just take a look at the lessons, try to do like a journal entry every day if you can, until you're ready and confident with your brand story. And then just jump into the lessons and think, all right, like, if I want to start collecting data on who's coming to my website, because it might actually surprise you, or who's adding to their cart, let me get my pixel up and running at the very least. And it's free as well.
Got it. So the
Yeah, great question.
recommendation be based off, so just attacking the course in general, like what are you really, really focused on, or what you really need help with? You can kind of sort through the chapters to start in between, or should be in order? So should it be like chapter 1 through 5, or we can bounce around to really get clarity, and it's easy to understand if we bounce around?
So I would say the more we talk about it, I think the best, or like my preferred way to go about this, if I was someone who was taking this for the first time, would be to actually look at the chapters and look at the lessons in each chapter and the headline and the description, and like look at it and be like, you know what, maybe this could wait. Or you know what, maybe we have videos already where we just need to show them to the right people, supercharge them with ads and email, right? Why don't we wait on film production and editing, and let's start using those videos and like posting them on social. Like, you know what, we posted them on social, now let's turn them into ads. So you know what I mean? It's like, let's, depending on where you're at, if you have a great cold video immediately, but chapter 1 and 2 are for like totally, if you're not a professional videographer or filmmaker, this is going to make you one. This is going to give you that edge and give you the quality that's going to get more attention, more sales, and just more results. So if you have everything that the lesson's promising to offer already, then just move on from it, like skip over it, and then you can come back to it.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I know there's times in my career where like, oh, I know how to film and edit, but I'm really interested in like Facebook advertising and Instagram ads. So I went ahead, I'm like taught myself, I took some courses, took some classes, read some books, and I just like, you know what? I'm just going to take all the content that I made and I'm going to supercharge it with ads now. And then I went through the same with email marketing. So that's why the SuperMedia Mastery course is what it is, because it's every subjectively, right, important step required to find customers, give them value, and then seamlessly get them to check out and make that purchase. So just remember, all the lesson material, it's there for you. Just if you want to spend like a month or some, week on a specific chapter, you just focus on that, because once you build these systems, like once you build your email automation in Squarespace, for example, if that's your platform of choice, it's there. So if you downloaded the Brand Storyteller's Journal, you're going to be receiving emails you probably have already from me
Yeah.
because you're that right. That was my lead magnet, and now you are my lead. So you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be getting more value in storytelling, and that's what you're going to learn in chapter 5, how to build that exactly. So I would peruse, check out the lessons. See, you know what? I want to learn this. I want to learn this. But by the end of it, you'll have all the skills you need to create this system.
True. Makes sense. Thank you.
Absolutely. But yes, so I was up to chapter 5 here, and this really is the final chapter. Notice there's only 3 lessons here, but they're each almost 20 minutes long. This one's 15. That part doesn't matter. How long the videos are do not matter. It's the information inside. Once you have filming and editing down, basic, social media theory and understanding, you have your ads created, you will come to chapter 5, the ultimate email automation. So this chapter is all about creating an automation. So for example, 15 to 20 pre-written emails that are in your automation once somebody downloads your lead magnet. So if you're watching this, it's very likely, again, that you downloaded the Brand Storyteller's Journal because you saw an ad, right? You became a lead once you shared your email and received the journal. So you are going to be getting 17 more emails, I believe it is, over the next 30 to 45 days. And I already wrote those, so I don't actually need to write those again. So this is where the automation comes in. You have the journal. Hopefully you're enjoying it. It's meant to have super high value, something that you can use immediately to see results. But once you have that, that's my way of forming a trust with you. Then you're like, hey, I want to help you. I'm an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. Now I'm going to share my story, why I made the journal, and what comes next. Once you have your brand story, how do you use it to supercharge sales? And that's where the course comes in. And eventually private training. So this right here, this chapter, like the others, is super strong, super important, because once you create it, it is kind of like a one-time wonder. It's there, and it's sending emails to your leads on autopilot. So Latoya, say you create a guide, or like how to dress for any occasion, for example, and you use Notion, and you have all these different occasions, and you just make these curated guides with styling and color theory and fabrics, right? All that stuff. Trying to remember everything from that first job. And it's this document, it's free, and it becomes your lead magnet. And you share that with somebody in an ad or in a social post in your bio. They download it, they enjoy it, they love it. But once they do that, they're in your email automation. And they're going to be getting as many, if you make 20 emails and they're triggered to go out like every couple days, that's done on autopilot. But in each of those emails that are going out on autopilot, there's a call to action. It could be what you're actually selling. In your case, it could be a new collection. It could be a course, right? Wink, wink. It could be an electric bicycle. It could be agency marketing services. That's for you, Aaron. It could literally be anything, but the key is storytelling. And that's why I always suggest to make sure you have your brand story down before you do any of this. And it's funny, like in my marketing, I'll say, don't take the SuperMedia Mastery course if you don't have your brand story, because it won't be as effective. You won't see as many results. But once you have that down, you literally just apply it to each of these 5 chapters and these skills. That is just a quick overview. I'll stop sharing this screen of how the course works, what's included. Latoya and I, we just talked about a great way to go about starting the course and absorbing all the information depending on what your skill set is. I just want to talk about this really quickly. The 5 skills and how they work together. You film something awesome. You edit it to make it look even more awesome. That video goes on to social media. You post it organically, meaning you don't put any paid spend behind it. You post it to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, for example. It does well, and now you want to turn it into an ad. So you take that same video and you make an ads funnel. The cold stage, for people who have never heard of you before. You get their attention at the cold stage, they take action, they go to the warm stage. In the warm stage, they because they've gone to your website, they've liked your social post, they're going to see some testimonials from people who are already customers. Like, oh, wow, someone else is using it. That's social proof. I'm more inspired to check it out now. Then they might add to their cart, which is something you want them to do at the warm stage. Then they become hot when they add to their cart. And at the hot stage, this is when you create a video or an offer to get them to check out. That could be a discount, it could be an add-on, whatever that is. So the cold and the warm and the hot stage, these are all designed, this is your funnel. But you need the content to fill the funnel, to carry that person into the journey. Not just that, but at the cold stage, you're getting them into your email list as well. So they're getting emails on autopilot, they're getting social media advertising on autopilot, and if you are doing SMS, which I haven't gotten to in this version of the course yet, text message marketing, you're doing that as well. But that's really how the funnel works. That's how these 5 skills work. And once you have them, you can apply them to anything. So keep getting locked out here. Here we go. Okay. Course designed. So this course is for you if you're interested in learning the skills that are essentially fishing poles. Once you have them, you will have them forever, and you can catch as many fish as you want. And if you're interested in habit building, so the Brand Storyteller's Journal was just one example of building a habit, doing a little bit every single day, just getting a little bit better. And learning these skills, going lesson by lesson, knowing that at the end of it, you will be more confident in finding new customers, closing new sales, and building your community, and really building and supercharging your brand. That, if you're looking for that, then the SuperMedia Mastery course is definitely for you. Now, the course and community won't be for you if you are looking for overnight success. It's something we as entrepreneurs are always kind of hoping for, right? But eventually we realize it's just not real. Overnight success isn't real. It is a collection of mistakes, failures, and attempts at success that have accumulated over the years, and then maybe one day you tip over into success, right? This course, it won't change your business overnight. However, if you make a great video and it goes viral, great, it might change your business. But this course is really designed for entrepreneurs, creators, marketers who want to learn the skills that actually do support sales and community growth and will get you results, though I never guarantee them. It will change your business. That is who the course is for. This is also a community. When you join the SuperMedia Mastery course, you're joining a community of entrepreneurs who want to see you win. And I think that's what's so powerful about the SuperWell community, about other communities who just want to help each other. And that's something I really want to emphasize here in this community, because all I want to do is help young Brandons who needed something like this when they were at that part, when I was at that part of my journey, the beginning, right? So if you are looking for overnight success, it probably won't be for you. But if you are looking for skills you'll have forever, skills you can teach to your team as you continue to build your brand, then you are in the right place. The course marketing meta strategy basically speaks about something we already talked about, which is that everything you see, now that you are in my customer journey, in our emails and the social media content, the ads, these are lessons. Take away what you like about them and use them for your own SuperMedia method. If you see an ad that I created that's targeted towards you to hopefully convince you to join the SuperMedia Mastery, even if you don't want to join, that's cool. Take that away. Take a lesson from that. So everything that we're doing, we're using that exact same strategy that we're teaching in the SuperMedia Mastery course. The pricing. So if you are one of the lucky few who are able to access the course for free in exchange for a review, thank you so much again. Shout out to Latoya, who's on the call now. The pricing was carefully thought over. I wanted to price the course in a way that was accessible for new entrepreneurs, startups, and businesses who still have really great ideas, but they don't know how to quite get that first sale and to start creating that content. So I wanted to make it approachable, but also a price that demonstrated value and a real investment in yourself. I only put this in here because I did get some questions about it. Obviously, pricing is different for everyone. It's really the value that you see in something that determines like what you're willing to pay for it. So just wanted to mention that. The social media mastery community, again, community, community, community. The course is one thing. It's going to teach you everything that you need to effectively sell and to build your community. But in our Slack channel, which is what you get access to when you join, weekly group training calls, in-person events that we're going to start putting together once the community is more built out. These are really what are going to help you bring your brand forward. Building off of one another, learning from one another, being able to teach one another. Community is a major theme within SuperMedia Mastery. So remember that once you do join, you get immediate access to that.
No, you answered my questions along the way, so I appreciate that. I'm super excited about it because I need help in everything, but I'm gonna
Awesome.
but we're gonna take it one day by day, and I'm glad that it's not one of those you can be famous overnight type approaches, because I don't necessarily believe in that myself either. So I'm here for the longevity, not the short term. So
Excellent.
good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's great to hear. And look, you might get lucky with this process, and it might feel like overnight success, but once you feel confident in these skills, knowing like really how they work, you're going to start seeing things improving and changing with your sales, with your engagement. So that's great. The last thing I want to talk about is the first group training call. So it's going to be next week. If you are interested in joining the SuperMedia Mastery course, we do weekly group training calls, but our first one, because it is a new course, is going to be next week. We're going to be talking about when that's scheduled in the Slack channel. So with that in mind, if you guys have any other questions, if you're in the course already, feel free to throw those questions in Slack. And that's really it for this webinar. I wanted to make sure it was kind of like off the cuff, not too scripted. I wanted to show you guys the course and really why it was made, how to best kind of navigate it. But thank you all so much for joining. I'm really excited to continue to build out the course, build out the templates, update the journal. So that is it for tonight.